Compass directions. Now we are going to learn today how are you going to construct directions by using a compass. Okay, this is just a compass with our north and east, south and west, and all the others in between: the northeast, the southeast, the southwest and the northwest. I think that is about what you have to know for this lesson. Now, there are three ways that we can say the same thing, that we can give the answer a direction to the compass. The first one can be, for example, south 20 degrees east, or it can be in a direction of 160 degrees. Then you start to measure it from north and all the way around. And then the last one will be 20 degrees east of south. Now let's look at two examples. The first one, we have our four directions, and you can see that the angle or the direction is 10 degrees from south to the west side. So we will read this one as south 10 degrees west, or it can be 10 degrees west of south. This one you will see starts at the north and it goes all the way around. So this we will read as in a direction of 200 degrees. So you will measure the 200 degrees from north all the way around up to the 200 degrees. Okay, now let's look at one example. The first example, we have a lot of information and we need to draw the directions using a compass, and I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. Now let's read first. Simon flies 88 kilometers in a north 45 degrees east, or we can also say north 45 degrees east direction from A to B. Now if I can learn you something, there is the information. There's part of the information that will be, oh no, that's not nice to see. Let's make it like that. The word and splits something. So he then turns and flies for another 85 kilometers south, 20 degrees east to reach C. There we have some other information. At this point, he turns in a direction of 210 degrees and flies for 34 kilometers before he reaches D. There we have some more information. Let's make this green. Then he returns and flies directly to A. So there we also have some other information. So we have four different sets of information. Then first they ask us, determine a scale for this situation. Now if you think you cannot draw 88 kilometers on a piece of paper or 85 kilometers on a piece of paper, so I would say this scale will be for every 10 kilometers we draw 1 centimeter. So that will be our scale. Let's put it down here. Our scale will be 10 kilometers is equal to 1 centimeter. Now we can actually try to draw this on a piece of paper. Okay, you will see here that we have A, B, C and D. And then back to A. Then he returns and flies directly to A. The first part, Simon flies 88 kilometers in a north 45 degrees east direction from A to B. So this is this part. From A to B, always from they say north 45 degrees east. That is where we get that angle. And then 88 kilometers. Now let me show you. I'm going to try and do it on this online app. I'm going to try and show you and help you that we can draw it. So here we have our compass. Just bear with me a bit. Okay, doesn't matter. Continuing. And then we are going to add our bearing. Now from here, this is how we use, it's 45 degrees east from north. So our angle will be round about there. Okay, so let's just make it a little bit more visible. And we delete this one. Okay. And we know that this one must be 88 kilometers. So that will be 8,8 centimeters. So now we just have to get our ruler. And we can see this one needs to be 8,8 centimeters. Sorry guys, this is still new to me. So this one we want 8, I. This one we want 8, 8. Okay, that's supposed to be the 8,8. Okay, so there we have our first bearing. This is A, and it moved towards B in 45 east from north direction. And here we will now have our next bearing. Let's just go see what is the, do you see here? There we have B. Then he turns and flies for another 85 kilometers south 20 degrees east. So south 20 degrees east. Now we know, we need another protractor, sorry. And this is now going to be south. And from the south we have to make 20 degrees to the east side. So let's just get a bearing. From there on, we need to have 20 degrees to the east. So it will be on the 20 degrees to the east. Let's just remove this one. Okay, and again, let's just go back. They ask us 85 kilometers. That means it's going to be 8,5 centimeters. So let's see here. It's going to be 8,5 centimeters. If this is not 100% on scale, then you would understand. Okay, so here will be our C. Do you see that? The 20 degrees and the 8,5 centimeters. And then we will have another bearing there. That one will be C. And so on, you will construct the D as well back to the... Okay, let's just make sure that we know how to do that. So we are going to start with another protractor. Let's just make sure our information... At this point, he turns in a direction of 210 degrees and flies for 34 kilometers. Okay, so we are going to use a 360 protractor. Let's just see where it starts. It needs to be 0. Okay, so now we start from 0. Remember, the 0 must always be north. And we will work for 210 degrees. So 210 degrees, this is 0 again. So this is 180. and then we still need 30, so it will be there. So we can add our bearing at the 30 degrees. There we go. And this one we just make a little bit more visible. Okay, so we have our 200 from north to here is 210 degrees, and it must be 34 kilometers. So if we take our ruler from here, it must be 34, which is 3,4. Only this one, 3,4. It will be around about there. This one must go there. Like I said, if this is not perfectly on scale, then that would be fine, just so that you know how to do this. Okay, so now we have A, we have B, and we have C, and now we are going to have D. And our information tells us then he turns and flies directly back to A. So here we know if we put our compass from here, he flew directly back to A. So now we have our A, and they flew to B, C, D, and back to A. Just remember that you have to put in all the angles and you have to put in all the distances. Just like here, and you put in the real distances, you do not put in the 8,8 centimeters, but you put in 88 kilometers and just all the angles. Okay, with the next example, they ask us to calculate the values of the letters A, B, D, E, and F. Now, you will see in your questions, the answers isn't there, obviously, but this one already has the angles in it. Now, let's look at A. This is A. Now, if they tell us that this whole angle is 110 degrees, we know that that is a 90-degree angle. So 110 minus the 90-degree angle will give us a 20 degrees here for A. Now for B, here we have B. We have a 40-degree angle there, and we know that this is a 90-degree angle. So the 90 degrees minus the 40 will give us an angle of 50 degrees here at B. At D, this one, now alternate angles means that they make a Z. So we have two parallel lines, that one and this one, they are parallel to each other. And if the angles can make a Z, then we know that these interior angles must be equal to one another. So here we have the Z, and the two interior angles will both be 40 degrees. Then E, here again we have a parallel line to this one, and if we take the Z again, then we can see that it is the interior angles will be the same. So this one will be 45 degrees and that one will be 45 degrees. But we want only the E part, and we can see that this line and this line are also parallel to each other. So here we have another Z. So the two interior angles will also be equal to each other. This one, A, was 20 degrees, so E will also be 20 degrees. And with this alternating angle, we know that this whole piece must be 45 degrees. So 45 degrees minus the 20 degrees will give us F as 25 degrees. Describe the route that Anne followed from A to B, from B to C, and then from C to D. Now from A to B, what happened? Remember, that you have to look if it's north or south. You always start with the north or the south first. So we have south here. So what happened? It is 26 kilometers, 32 degrees east of south. So it's 32 degrees east of south, 26 kilometers. From B to C, we work from north, and we can say that it is 50 kilometers, and it is north 50 degrees to the east. That is this one, north 50 degrees east. From C to D, we have 18 kilometers, and we are going to start with south and then 45 degrees east. Now, in which direction should Anne travel from point D to reach the starting point at A? Again, if we want to travel from D to A, then we are going to start, it's north and 70 degrees west. How do I get the 70 degrees? We calculated this as 25 degrees, and this is a 45-degree angle because this is a 90-degree angle, and here we have a 20 and a 25, so this one will be 45 degrees. Or you can also think about it like this. You have a parallel line with another parallel line, and the alternate angles there is equal to each other, 45 and 45 degrees. Then the last one, a ship sails from the harbor in a direction of 120 degrees. So we always start north when they give it to us like this. She then turns south 40 degrees west and continues for a few hours. Sketch this situation and complete the triangle by connecting the end point with the beginning. So we start 120 degrees. There we go. There's the line that she walked or sailed. And from here on, south 40 degrees west. So south and then 40 degrees west for a few hours. And then from there on, we connect the end point with the beginning point, and we have this triangle that is formed in the end.